"Let there be light." God saw how good the light was. God then separated the light from the darkness. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate day from night. Let them mark the fixed times, the days and the years, and serve as luminaries in the dome of the sky to shed light upon the earth." And so it happened. God made the two great lights, the greater one to govern the day, and the lesser one to govern the night. And she made the stars, and she set them in the dome of the sky to shed light upon the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. God saw how good it was. On summer evenings, when I was 17, I sat on our porch, sometimes with friends, and we'd look up through the branches of the tall trees around my house, and we could see the glowing moon and the stars. So many stars. When I was 17, I could see the stars from my house. I can't anymore. Light pollution, of course. And that's a very big deal, because the stars are a lot about who we are. As the late astronomer Carl Sagan often said, we are made of star stuff. And for as long as there have been humans, stars have given us a sense of who we are and where we are. A lot of our stories started in the stars, and the pictures the human imagination created from them. And there they are, Andromeda, Scorpius, Perseus, Orion, and our neighboring planets, Venus, Jupiter, Pluto. Now, Canis Major, which is near the Orion constellation, is about 9 light years away. Tau Ceti, which is part of the constellation of Cetus the whale, is 12 light years away. Pollux, one of Jupiter's stars, is 338 light years away. Near the Big Dipper, Arcturus is 37 light years away and 25 times the diameter of our sun. The Swan constellation holds Deneb, one of the brightest stars we know. It's 3,000 light years away, 100,000 times as bright as the sun. The cosmos, that is all space, all of it, is believed to be at least 10 billion light years in diameter. With a vast number of galaxies, it has been growing for 13 billion years. Can you imagine that? How imaginable can God be? Our sun is one of a few 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, which is one of a few 100 billion galaxies in that part of the universe that we know about. There are many more stars, constellations, huge bodies that give light to our planet, and yet, considering the infernal universe with its stars, its planets, its moons, its galaxies, its foreverness, where does it stopness, how does that fit with what we do here each week? There sometimes seems to be something of a disconnect. We looked up, well, back in the day, we looked up and we could find pictures in the stars, and in those pictures, guidance for life here on Earth. We saw that those pictures moved as the days and seasons moved, so it was important to look for those pictures, to know where they were and how to find them. Those pictures could be about animals or heroes or gods and goddesses. And as our imagination moved, as the stars moved, well, actually, we on the earth were turning. We didn't realize it at first, but we were moving, not the stars. But we found out when we should plant, when we should harvest. The stars showed us how to live, and astrologers took that seriously, studying the stars for what the future held. We might smile at that, but most of us are sitting here in a building that exists because astrologers happen to follow a star to a stable in Bethlehem. A great star appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun, and another sign, a huge dragon that his tail swept a third of the stars from the sky, and the woman fled. What's that about? Well, on winter nights in the northern hemisphere, you could see the constellation Ursa Major, who looked like a woman. Nearby, Orion, the soldier, and Draco, the dragon. The dragon's tail, we call that the Pleiades. And as the earth turns, the woman drops below the horizon. The dragon follows. Orion's sword is raised against the dragon. And how will it end? The world turns, and the stars seem to move, and we make stories. When I was 17, I was pretty sure that by the time I was the age I am now, that we would have made it to Venus, and that we'd have a colony on the moon, and if we were lucky, we'd meet people from other planets. And of course, I got that from television, Lost in Space and Star Trek, and the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey. We had a colony on the moon in 2001. And Star Trek was quite optimistic. Did you know that the old original series took place in the years 2266 to 2269? We'd better hurry up. And according to the Star Trek canon, when we made it into space, we would have survived the eugenics wars of the 1990s. We would have gotten past our atomic crisis. That would have brought us all to our senses, and the Earth would come together and unite, and together we would take to the stars, we would discover warp drive, the Vulcans would come to Earth to greet us, the Federation of Planets would be born, but only after we fixed everything up down here. And well, pretty soon, Captain Kirk, or someone like him and his ship and 11 other Constellation-class starships like it, would be exploring space, the final frontier. And my 17-year-old self asks, why aren't we there yet? Why aren't we even close? I know traveling to space is hard and it's expensive, and we have plenty to do down here. We are, as a world, hardly united. There's always a war or two or three, so no federation yet. The Vulcans probably won't come near us. Logical. A few people have gone into space. Astronauts, cosmonauts, even some civilians have gone up. Even Captain Kirk has gone up. That is, the actor who portrayed him, that is William Shatner, last October. With Jeff Bezos' company, the ship Blue Origin, Shatner looked forward to it. He was sure it would be glorious. And when that Blue Origin ship headed up into space with those very wealthy space tourists, they looked down upon Earth and out into space. Once back on Earth, it didn't take long. Once back on Earth and out of the ship, most of them giggled and popped corks, except Shatner. He had to go off by himself. He was weeping. Because when he looked down on us on Earth, he felt the strongest feeling of grief he'd ever experienced. He wrote, I discovered that the beauty isn't out there, it's down here with all of us. The contrast between the vicious coldness of space and the warm, nurturing earth below filled me with overwhelming sadness. Every day we are confronted with the knowledge of further destruction of Earth at our hands. It turns out that many astronauts feel that way. It's called the overview effect. When they see how precious and delicate Earth is, they come back wanting to improve life here, like Shatner. They return to Earth more convinced of the interconnectedness of humanity. We have wars, Shatner stuttered. The stupidity of it all is so obvious. Why are we killing our Earth and each other? Why can't I see the stars? And where is God? With the exception of some passages like the one in Job, God stretches out over the void and hangs the earth upon nothing. The Bible is pretty earth-centered. The Christian idea of the universe historically, if they went that far, is earth-centered, and earth is flat. The Nicene Creed, written up in the year 325, is a good illustration. It's a profession of faith that's still used by liturgical churches, Catholic, Episcopal, St. Peter's does it. Essentially, it's like this. Jesus comes down to earth, he dies, he descends to hell, limbo, to free the trapped souls. That's a long story. He comes back to earth and rises from the dead and then ascends into heaven. It's elevator Jesus. Heaven's up there, hell is down there, and earth is flat in the middle. And God is up there and the heavens. It's so nicely compact and easy to understand. Should God be easy to understand? Lots of people were aware centuries before Columbus that the earth isn't flat. One of them, a fellow named Eratosthenes in the 3rd century, he was an astronomer, historian, geographer, philosopher, poet, mathematician, and theater critic. He's in everyone. He was the director of the great library at Alexandria in Egypt, now lost to history. He read that at noon in Syene, an outpost on the Nile on June 21st, that a stick in the ground would not cast a shadow. But at noon in Alexandria, a stick at noon would cast a shadow. Why is that? Those shadows should do the same thing if the earth is flat, right? And with those sticks and shadows or non-shadows and other obvious evidence, Eratosthenes figured out that the circumference of the obviously round earth was 40,000 kilometers, which is close to being exactly right. And he never left his chair figuring that out. The Christian church, throughout history, much preferred a flat earth as the center of the universe, of God's universe. It's comforting. The Christian church has, unfortunately, a sorry history of being unkind to scientists, uncovering unpleasant facts, those guys, like the earth is round, and it's not the center of the universe. And the church persecuted scientists like Copernicus, like Galileo, like Kepler. They even imprisoned Kepler's mother. These scientists who made discoveries put them at odds with the church's idea of God's will at the time, and they felt the church's wrath with imprisonment, torture, and exile. Well, we're much smarter now, right? The ancient library at Alexandria, where Eratosthenes was sitting, was perhaps the greatest library of ancient times. It contained books or scrolls from almost any known place under the sun. Scholars came to Alexandria to study there. It was a repository of knowledge famed throughout the known world. And Alexandria, as you may know, was named for its founder, Alexander the Great, an open-minded and educated warrior, who, by the way, William Shatner once played. But also, the Library of Alexandria and most of what it contained, alas, is lost to history. In the 4th century of this common era, the Roman Empire was crumbling and the Christian church was rising in power. The library in Alexandria had seen some rough times, but it was still then a valuable research center. It contained 500,000 volumes, including books by authors who had proven that the round Earth was one of several planets orbiting the sun. There's also a 3-volume history of the world by a Babylonian priest. Also the collected works of the Greek playwrights. As endless as we could imagine a galaxy, that library, we would have loved to wander in its halls. The last scientist who worked in the library, the last director, was a mathematician, astronomer, the head of the Neoplatonic School of Philosophy. Her name was Hypatia. Born in 370, Hypatia was living at a time when the Christian church had grown powerful and was trying to eradicate paganism. Scholarship that deified the church scholarship that defied the church, was paganism. The Archbishop of Alexandria then was Cyril, and he connected learning and science with paganism. And he preached vehemently against pagan learning, against the library, and against Hypatia. In the year 415, while Hypatia was on her way to the library, Cyril's parishioners attacked her, tore off her clothes, and flayed her flesh from its bones with abalone shells, and they burned her remains. Cyril was made a saint. His feast day was just this past Friday, and my old Catholic missal says he is renowned for his defense of the divine maternity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The library suffered more and is long gone, and it contained many things that we will never know. It once contained 123 plays by Sophocles, the Greek playwright. We only know about 7. Now, for the most part, we have come to peace with the idea that the earth is round and that we're not the center of the universe. On the other hand, do we believe that we are made from star stuff? And where is God? In Out of the Silent Planet, C.S. Lewis told a story that people on other planets called Earth the silent planet, and that once an evil Oyarsa, or angel, who was bent, he was driven out of the heavens and bound to Earth, which became silent, when the other planets are singing. The other planets would not want anything to do or have any contact with Earth. We haven't figured out how to be good to each other on this planet, and we grudgingly resist or try to care for the planet, a command by the God of our Bible at the very beginning of the book of Genesis. So how can we go to other planets? How can we travel the stars, find and be friendly with other life forms, understand the vastness among the stars, and where is God? We're certainly not ready to join the Federation yet. There's no way. We are worth weeping over. So long as we keep our eyes and our minds downward, metaphorically, literally, we will not see the skies that hold our past and our future. And whether we're talking about soul flight or space flight, we will never, in any sense of the words, be traveling through the stars. To reclaim our place as part of creation, to see the light God said that is good. Can it be again? Do we have it in us to be sailing in the cosmos where all of God is? Can we ever, I wonder, go where no one from here has gone before? We can't, so to speak, join the Federation until we've cleaned up our act. Considering the overall effect of seeing Earth from space, seeing how vulnerable and how frustrating we are, the message from Christ and others who represent divine breakthroughs into this silent planet, can we bring our home to life? In the words of another starship captain, I hope that we can make it so. Amen.